Some breaking news: a tourist submarine exploring the wreckage of the Titanic in the Atlantic Ocean has disappeared, with authorities currently searching for 5 individuals who were on board at the time it went missing. One of them who was a famous explorer. According to the Boston Coast Guard, a search was underway as of Monday for the submarine that vanished while it was taking passengers on a pricey tour of the Titanic wreck, which is situated at the bottom of the ocean floor off the coast of Newfoundland, Canada, approximately 12,500 feet underwater. The submarine was operated by a private company called Ocean Gate Expeditions, which charges tourists as much as $250,000 for a trip to view the infamous shipwreck. Representative from the company confirmed that the submarine is missing and said that it contained 2 passengers and 3 crew members at the time of its disappearance. The Titanic trip package offered by the company spans 8 days, with dives down to the wreckage at times reaching 10 hours in length. It is said that government agencies and deep sea firms are helping with the operation. It is a truck-sized sub that holds 5 people and usually dives with a 4-day supply of oxygen. They say their entire focus is on the crew members in the submersible and their families. Other than that, I will keep you guys updated with any information, and please pray that we find them.
Someone has described what it will be like to be on the missing Titanic submarine, and it's the most terrifying thing you will have heard today. Imagine being trapped in something the size of a minivan, pitch black, the air is thick because you and 4 others have been breathing the same air for hours. You're trapped under 15,000 feet of water. It's cold because there is no power. You can't get up and move around, and even if you could, it would just use more oxygen. There's no contact with the outside. Every now and again, you hear the creaking of the hull caused by the tremendous pressure. You have limited food and water. The air reeks of BO. Yeah, the submarine pilot reassures you that everything is going to be okay, and just to sit tight. But the look on their face whenever light is available lets you know they are just as terrified. Every so often, the pilot taps on the hull with a hammer. He's sending out Morse code, hoping someone picks it up on sonar. He doesn't realize nobody will hear. Some people have already become physically sick, and now the air stinks of vomit and feces. You look at the viewing port in the bow and see water dripping down the seams. You have been told it's condensation and not seawater, so it's nothing to worry about. You start to question the person in charge. You feel the terror rising in you as you realize that this is probably it. Limited air, limited space, limited water, limited food, and absolutely zero chance of escape. Your fate depends on the outside world, and it is obvious they don't know where you are.
It is now being confirmed by Sky News reports that the debris found is from the Titan submersible, including the sub's landing frame and a rear cover. A rescue expert says the debris found in the search for Titan was a landing frame and a rear cover from the submersible. David Mearns, who is friends with 2 of the passengers on board Titan, says he is part of a WhatsApp group involving the Explorers Club. Mr. Mearns told Sky News the president of the club, who is directly connected to the ships on the site, said to the group it was a landing frame and a rear cover from the submersible. Mr. Mearns says, "Again, this is an unconventional submarine. That rear cover is the pointy end of it, and the landing frame is the little frame that it seems to sit on." He says this confirms that it is the submersible. Mr. Mearns says he knows both British billionaire Hamish Harding and the French sub-pilot Paul-Henri Nargeolet. It means the hull hasn't yet been found, but 2 very important parts of the whole system have been discovered, and that would not be found unless it's fragmented, he added. Mr. Mearns also spoke about the fairing of the submarine, shaped like a fishtail, and said, "If the fairing is off and the frame is off, then something really bad has happened to the entire structure."
Now, we are coming back with some breaking news, I have to say, at the moment. Now, this is coming from the United States Coast Guard Northeast Command. They have just tweeted that a debris field was discovered within the search area by one of those remote operated vehicles near the Titanic. Experts within the Unified Command are evaluating the information, and there is going to be a press briefing. We are trying to get more information on that, but the breaking news within the last few moments is that the United States Coast Guard in the Northeast, who are part of the coordination team, say that a debris field was discovered within the search area by an ROV near the Titanic. I'm going to join my colleague Matthew Ambroli-Waller with more.
Been looking at those search areas, and this seems to be a significant line.
Well, certainly the U.S. Coast Guard, the sort of Northeast District, they've put out this tweet, and they haven't tweeted much, to be honest, in the last few days. So when they put out a message like this, one might think that it is significant. So we're reading here, a debris field was discovered within the search area by an ROV, it's a remotely operated vehicle, near the Titanic. Experts within the Unified Command are evaluating the information. Now, of course, you have to heavily caveat this, Matthew, I would say. I mean, the whole of the sea floor around the Titanic is littered with debris from that old ship as well. So is it something or is it nothing? That's why they're saying that they are evaluating it. Now, if you go back to Sunday when we lost contact with the sub, one of the scenarios, of course, is that it suffered some sort of catastrophic hull failure. They would have had an implosion, in essence, and that would have caused an enormous amount of debris. I've held in my hands parts of a remotely operated vehicle that suffered a catastrophic implosion at depth in the past, and it can be in small pieces. But as I say, it's an interesting tweet that we've had from the Coast Guard. They're promising more information later in the day, and so I guess we just wait. I mean, obviously it would be very bad news if it were the sub. We just have to wait.
And John, you have that search area over your shoulder. It was interesting in this tweet, it's talking about the area quite close to the Titanic site, and we've seen this search area extend and extend, haven't we? Yeah, so I mean, they've been searching a surface area of about 26,000 square kilometres, huge area. That's larger than Wales. It's about the size of two times the US state of Connecticut, and they've been using planes to go backwards and forwards, hoping that the sub had somehow come to the surface and that they would be able to detect it. But they were concentrating their search around the area of the Titanic wreck itself, for obvious reasons. That's where the Ocean Gate sub was going on Sunday. It was going down to visit the sub. And if I just move you back here as well, this is the sub that we're talking about, obviously. You can see that it's about 6 to 7 meters in length. What happened to it? It lost communications. Let me go forward to here. This morning, various ships on the surface above the Titanic wreck site, and then we suddenly saw them cluster earlier this afternoon. They came together, and one of the reasons for that was the French vessel, the Atalante, putting down the ROV. Is it that ROV that has discovered this debris field?